He's in Wales. Do you know where Wales is? It's that little island off the coast of England. It's connected by a land bridge, which is a whole barrier. Oh, we're online. Oh,
well, Ian came and went. He came and went for a while or not. I don't know, and I probably will as well, because
I think Wales has been disconnected from the internet.
We were just, and funnily enough, we were just talking about channels being cancelled on YouTube, and he went, boom, gone.
Yeah,
he started just taken. Well, here it is, and here's the thing. If you have a look at SUAS News, and hang on,
he's back.
He's back.
Hey.
Look, it's going to be double Ian. 2 Ians arrive at once. You wait around all week, and then 2 arrive at once. Hello, gentlemen. How are we?
I'm good.
Great. Good. And you, so you just released a video about 20 minutes ago. I watched it. Didn't really understand it because don't care. DJI allegedly leveraging people, or leveraging their position to stop people making things, something like that.
Yeah, this started surfacing earlier in the week, and there's an accusation that they are basically talking to bind and fly drone vendors and saying, hey, we don't want you using that other system. We only want you to use ours. So anti-competitive behavior. Now, how that looks, no one knows. There's no vendor has come out and said it, because they're not really going to do it. But there's been some background chats between some vendors that DJI are putting pressure, is the term we will use, on to vendors to go exclusive. Now, would I be shocked? No. Would I be surprised? Is it pretty much somewhat normal business practice? Is it illegal in many countries? Is it how it's always been done? Probably. You know, if you go exclusive, we'll give you 30% off or something like that. It's hardly surprising, is the bit which has sort of made me chuckle, because people are a bit surprised by it, and I think it seems that DJI have very much turned its eye back to FPV, and that's probably because consumer drones are not selling well, and that's
could be the reason.
Because they're making a killing literally out of all this stuff. They don't need domestic market. Goodness me.
Nicely said.
But yes, they very much, the eye of Sauron is back on FPV, is to use DJI.
But I wonder if they picked the wrong fight, because the FPV crowd, they push back very strongly against that sort of carry on. Consumer drones, nobody cares, but with the FPV crowd, they're quite principled. You know, a lot of people are anti-DJI anyway.
Well, what they do in the consumer drone crowd is take everyone who's negative and say, here's a load of affiliate money. Now you're not negative. That really doesn't tend to work in the FPV world. Now, I would love to have reached out to DJI for a comment on the story, but there was no point, because they haven't replied to a single email that I've sent them in 2 years. So I felt it completely pointless to do this. I'd probably
give up so easy.
A bridge somewhere with this one.
But funny you mentioned bridges. Bruce mentioned bridges when you disappeared. But anyway.
Yeah, but no, look, I think it's somewhat of a non-surprising story for those of us who've been around long enough. Do we think DJI is very hard on dealers? Probably yes. You don't get to being where they are, as was Microsoft over the years. You know, years ago, there's some real stories out there from allegedly how Microsoft behaved years ago as well. And look, Avatar, it's a complicated mix. Avatar was based off DJI, made by Cadex, who were a partner of DJI. They're not blameless here. You know, in the background, they were like, yeah, hey, we're your friend, and then quietly beavering away on their own product. So, yeah.
I think there's only one way to sum this up. Analog for the win!
Analog for the win, yes. Yes. And, you know, there's a lot of hype around at the moment, because there's allegedly a new set of goggles coming for one system. But, I think things are settling. There's this new DJI product, which we know is coming, avionics. We just don't know what it is. We believe it's FPV related.
It's not the new light show then.
No,
I
did see that, and I don't think it's that. We think it's either going to be a big Avata or an Avata 2. I wouldn't be shocked if they sort of did a pro FPV drone. Do you know what I mean? Something, not a cine lift, but something a bit more pro.
Something
sort of
more
a
military style.
Rapid delivery drone style.
Maybe something that can carry a bit more weight, camera-wise. Do you know?
With crosshairs and the FPV.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Something that has a bigger payload capability.
Yes, quite. Absolutely. Now, should you be on SES News, I'll put this up now, and should Philip Wonka appear on SES News, then click it, and potentially a gold cube can be yours.
And I'm gutted. Everybody's got cubes but me. Here I am. I just don't have a cube.
That is one of the most disturbing images I think.
Isn't AI wonderful?
Was that done by AI, was it?
That was done by AI. Isn't it wonderful? But if you happen to see Philip Wonka and you fill in the form, I promise I am not going to steal your information. But you, dear viewers to this live stream, I'm sure you're going to win something, because you're the trial turkeys for this. And I'm sure something will wing your way from the Cube Pilot gang, and it will give you a chance to enter into further draws that are coming. Each time a form will come up, fill the form out, and every entry is another entry into a bigger thing, because this is the 10th year of the Cube. So that's the idea behind that. There's 3 adverts running on the site. So there's 1 in 3 chance it'll turn up when you click. So have a look for Philip Wonka. I'll remind you again, it's only going to be up for during the show, this first run, and it's going to appear at random on the site, and then we'll probably pull it from a hat or something like that. So I'll stop sharing that, and that's over on sUASnews.com. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, some website like that.
Your own website, Gary. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, that'll be it.
Please make sure when you say Philip Wonka that we get this right.
Philip Wonka. I know. That very much crossed. As soon as I wrote it, I thought,
It's funny, 10 years. I remember when, because it wasn't always the Cube. For those who don't remember, it was the Pixel 2.1, and I had one of the very first. I ordered one from 3DXR in the UK when it first released, and it's still in the rover today. It's one of the best flight controllers I've had, and I've had it from day one. Is that video then 10 years old I put up? Wow.
It'll be a little bit later. I think the one you got, because don't forget I think they appeared in the Solo
first. So you had the Pixel 2 in the Solo first of all, wasn't it?
And to a degree the Iris as well. I think some of the DNA's in that as well. So yeah, it was a little bit earlier, but this is the 10th year. Some people say it starts next February, and some people say it starts now. So there's a little bit of intrigue around that, when that timing is, but we're certainly moving into the 10th year. And Cube Pilot very kindly, again, in my normal way of things, I can give away an autopilot every month for a year, and someone's going to get a gold cube. It's not going to be Bruce. Others.
There you go. Just put a bullet through him there.
He's we're going to find a special color for Bruce, haven't we? I don't know what that would be. So yeah, it's all good stuff. All good stuff. So right, but you're going to have to go to SES News. You're going to have to click through from there, and every month the link's going to change. No point keeping this link, because it's going to change. But it'd be great for everyone that watches this stream, all the loyal ones of viewers. You'll get something. You lot will get something. That's for sure. Just wait for it to show. Now. So we've sort of went to that light show thing. Did you see that DJI have released light shows?
Well, I mean, anyone that builds light show swarms just had to wake up a bit, because if they do enter the market, it's going to be interesting. Me and my partner, we were talking about this today. We went, Ferkel. Because it's the only word you can use, because they are so dominant across the whole drone industry. But they do make some of the best hardware out there. I don't care what anyone says. Don't their stuff works, but it'd be interesting to see the pricing, because DJI is not always the cheapest. So, what do the aircraft weigh? What's their pricing? What's the software going to be like? Until you know those features, it's very much a bit of an unknown. I think it'll be 4S powered. I think it'll weigh about 1 kilo, but other than that, I don't know much more. I wouldn't like to guess at anything. Yeah.
I like the way they stack up. They come stacked. I wonder if they fly off from that stack.
It's hard to do that because your GPS is blocked. So every time,
True.
every one,
True.
Your GPS is blocked. Now, we did have stacking. So one of our things was, we can stack them, but we've done a slight modification. So our stacking's gone in favor of something else. However, I think our weight is one of our winning features because we're only 400 grams, including the battery. But the other thing that hopefully means we can negate them joining the market is our support. So it doesn't matter if you're buying for Europe or America, for example. Our aim is we will help you through the whole process of getting that permission to fly Swarm, because anyone you buy a Swarm from today, you pay your money, you get your drones, good luck. That's how it works. That's how the drone industry works. And we want to change that. So our aim is, you come to us, you buy the Pixel, we will start providing the YASA manual for it. We'll start providing the USA manual for it. You'll get the UK manual for it if you're here. So our aim is to make it so getting your permission, your operation authorization from anywhere as easy as possible. And that's going to be part of when you buy the Swarm. It's not extra on top. It's not going to be any of that. It's you bought the Swarm, you've got our support, you've got our backup, here you go, kind of thing.
I see there's been quite a bit of chatter about from defense contractors about maybe there's a potential in swarms. It's like, oh look what DJI just bought out.
I mean, we've been saying it here for quite some time, and I've been saying it for a few years.
Nobody listens to us. That's the thing. Nobody listens.
Is it so you can fly over enemy territory and write rude words in the sky?
Exactly. Yeah. In a well done, Mark. I see you, Agent Mark Van Vy from California. I see your entry. I'll only be using one. Yes, that's right. You can write "go home" or "stop being nasty" or something like that on the sky. Yeah.
But I think what's interesting is we did find out from a few people that we've been quoting to that we are cheaper than most other Swarm suppliers, and if that's the case, anyone that's more expensive than us, I think the DJI news should have them seriously concerned. I really do, because if they do enter the market, they can produce drones quickly and fast, and they can just swamp the market. But what's their batteries? What's their software like? What is the drone itself like? It's going to fly really well because it's DJI. We know that. So there's too many unanswered questions really at the minute.
But it's an interesting year, isn't it? They've chosen to enter the delivery market, and now they've chosen to enter the light show market. Both areas that they've sort of ignored. Does that mean that their sales are slowing down a lot, or they see it suddenly?
I think they've sold so much to the military that they've got a cash abundance. They can invest in anything they like.
Well, have they entered the drone light show business? Are they just showing off what they can? Because they may be.
No, they have.
Just showing off what they can do. But if they're entering it and they're coming full steam, I can't wait. I want to see their pricing. That's what I want to see. Once we understand that, I think that will become interesting.
The thing with DJI is what they always do is deliver very, very well is turnkey. And that's the bit. If you look at what makes DJI successful, there's no one in this industry who's done turnkey better than DJI. Every time we look at every segment, the bit they do best is open the box, put it in the air, and it does its thing. And again, if they do that with light show, that it'll be very, very interesting. Where they let themselves down often is software, and software is the big key here. However, really, it doesn't need, if you look at Terra and all of that stuff, I think DJI got out of their depth with Terra trying to compete with the likes of, I forgot what they're called, Pix4D and people like that. Whereas Light Show really is a much more basic thing. You want to be able to put in what you want, and then the software does the rest. Whereas things like DJI Terra and other stuff is more about getting data out from the software and using it to control the drones. But I think they must be struggling a bit. I've never seen them advertise as much as they are at the moment. They are banging out emails every few days for anyone on the list.
Wow.
They're trying to sell the minis. Interestingly, their enterprise side has been very quiet as well. Usually every year you get a new enterprise drone from them, and we haven't had anything. When was the M300? That's 18 months.
But they must be moving boxes and boxes of stuff to the globe. Boxes and boxes and boxes.
Well, the minis, they sell like hotcakes. I mean, Christmas is what, 2 months away? And that's all like hotcakes.
But it's
it's just what every soldier wants for Christmas. Well, I suppose it is, really. I suppose it is.
Every
Sadly,
little soldier, Gary. Every little soldier.
Every little soldier. Yes, that's right.
And the accessory this year for Christmas is the little bomb rack. You can buy little plastic 3D printed bombs. I mean, that's what all the kids want. Those. They're going to play.
The wireless release mechanism. No.
For fishing. Yes.
Fishing. Yes, yeah. Obviously to drop that bait. That 2 kilos of bait.
So, a big fish. You drop 2 kilos of bait here.
You want some Semtex bait? I've got some here.
Yeah, it's. But I would expect, the bubble burst 18 months ago. We saw it here. We said it here. The overall drone bubble burst about the Mini 2 time was when you saw the peak, and now the Mavic 3s aren't that exciting. There's no excitement in camera drones. They're all good. They're all very good. But I am, we've seen Skydio pull out now. Autel are limping along, really limping along, and DJI are left with the spoils. And look, they're a huge company, but I think we're probably going to see them diversify a bit more.
Yes, I see. Oh, I've forgotten that. Good old me again. That Quantum Systems that do that VTOL, that high aspect ratio VTOL with the tricock thing with the servo on the tail that snaps off. They start making rovers. I see. So yeah, they're definitely for various parts of the Christmas market that unfortunately will be needed after Christmas, because it's not going to be over by Christmas. DJI is not just for Christmas, they're for life.
I think the next big thing is firefighting drones for car parks at airports.
Diesel. We said electric.
Yeah, but it was a hybrid diesel. And the hybrid battery went up.
It is hybrid.
And apparently they go up continually. They go up at the drop of a hat, those ones.
Yeah, never wear a hat in a hybrid.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be any different. It's still the same battery tech. There's nothing different about it. The only thing with a hybrid is you've got usually you have a much more higher cycling battery, so the cycling of it is much higher than it is on a full EV. But yeah, that car park I was actually down that way when it happened, and I didn't see it, but yeah, that was a hell of a mess.
Well,
yeah, they're going to have to change the way they build buildings, aren't they? Because all these underground car parks and high-rise buildings, I mean, what are you going to do when they're full of EVs? This is not a good situation.
I will say this. If you're in I've got a plug-in hybrid, and unfortunately my sister-in-law was she was almost very much involved in a very horrible accident by Bristol. Unfortunately, a man passed away. I have spoken about this one before. He was sitting in a lay-by in his car waiting to pick, I think, his girlfriend or wife up from the airport. He was early, and a person, we believe they had a medical incident, nearly took my sister-in-law out on the motorway. Scud pass hit his car whilst it was parked in the lay-by, and his car with a plug-in hybrid. And she has dash cam footage of it all going off. And no lie, within a minute, that car was up and no one was getting out. The speed, the plug-in, the batteries go up when they go. We let joke about lipos going up. On our level, it's fairly minor. That car, you saw the sparks at the back, and then within 30 seconds, the whole back of the car. And once it went, there was no getting up.
This is another reason why I think they're moving to LFP batteries, because they are intrinsically far safer. They don't release oxygen when they overload, so the fires can be extinguished more easily. But it's wonderful to know that this lithium-ion battery technology is in all these eVTOLs, including the eHang one. So we'll be perfectly safe in the skies.
I do think in a hybrid, if you're in an accident, you want to get out quick, even as minor as you may think it is. You might sit there and someone bumps the back of the car. You just get out and wait. And let the vehicle settle, because the problem is, before you know it, it could be up.
I mean Philip Rouse has spoken about this, and it is a concern with the EVs. There's not enough thought that goes in yet to what happens in a crash and dealing with it. The fact that there should be a system where you can release the battery so first responders could just roll the car off it.
Can't. Because it's part of the bottom chassis now. They build it
in the electric.
That's the problem. You can't say you can't. Anything you can design around and create a solution for if you want to do. It's what's ever been done for the cost at the moment. So they're not thinking about what happens in a crash.
You imagine the theft of the battery.
The catalytic converters. They've only just done that guy for catalytic converters.
Let's face it, though. Besides that battery, you're hardly putting that in your pocket and going down the street with it, are you?
And that's why you always keep a couple of AA cells in the glove box, just in case.
Just in case the car runs out.
Just in case I'm change your battery.
I suppose what reality when you have a crash, there's going to, we're going to see just how serious the consequences are. And there was that bus that was electric that had gone over, and it made it sound like a lot of the casualties there were not necessarily all from the fall. It was the fact that it set on fire so quickly.
It makes you wonder, though, because look in electric vehicles, the strain on the battery is pretty minimal. It's like 1/3 C, because you drive for 3 hours on a full charge. So 1/3 C discharge, and the full charge is roughly 1 C. But in the aviation context for these eVTOL craft, they're going to be sucking 3 C, 5 C out of the battery, and they're going to be recharging it much more than 1 C. So those batteries are going to have a very short cycle life. There's far more risk of them actually going bang because they're being really, really more stressed. So if EVs are going bang with not too much provocation, I just don't think they should be using these flying over urban areas full of people, over schools and hospitals and goodness knows what else.
You're also going to see a big shift in insurance coming, because the big problem with EVs is the price of a replacement battery. If you take the Tesla, it's believed to be about $12,000-$13,000, I think it is, off the top of my head. Now that's fine on a 1-year-old car. Let's say 12 months and under, car with £40,000. The math is a no-brainer. So if there's a ping at the back and the battery dies, however, once that car gets to 2 or 3 years old, once that battery is damaged, ignore the fact of people saying it's not going to be worth replacing them in 10 years. If you have an accident a shunt enough that battery's damaged, that car's written off. That car is gone.
Well, Tesla have already said that Elon Musk has already said he wants to go into insurance because it'll be cheaper for him to provide it to everyone with the Tesla. So he wants to do Tesla car insurance because it'll be cheaper overall for his cars. But you imagine this then, right? So when you take a LiPo battery on a plane, the rules we have to follow. It's crazy. Now we're going to have these flying eVTOLs. How big's their battery to the little one I want to take on board it? So imagine you want to take a little battery on board, or a couple of Inspire batteries, and you go, fire risk. And you go, what about the battery under there?
Well, Boeing 777 had that problem when they started.
Absolutely, they did, very much so. But that's a great segue into eHang got certified,
and the people who certified them should have been certified.
Yeah.
Autopilot. So I've got a bit of
2 reporters have already contacted me about that. Yes.
What is it certified as? A blender for people's knees?
Yeah.
The trouble is, unfortunately, with this crowd, i.e. you lot and our dear viewer, we'll all just go meh. I know we will. There's nothing to be said, really, is there? I mean, it's just dangerous on many regards, and as Ian suggested, it is using RG Pilot against the project's wishes.
Although, as we said, we don't know that it is. What we can say is the videos that the company has put out themselves show ArduPilot in use, and they've not been able to convincingly explain how that's the case. So,
is it showing Is it showing now? Are we showing ArduPilot itself, or are we showing Mission Planner?
And ArduPilot, it's actually got
Navlink.
the specific to ArduPilot messages from the EKF on Mavlink coming out. So before they skinned up the UI, you could even see the flight modes, so you could see it in alt hold and so on. But obviously at that point you can say, well, that could be ArduPilot or it could be PX4. But either way, you should be saying, well, why is that in a manned vehicle? But that aside, you know, if you'd written that software and they'd made out, I think they removed the page, but it might be stored on the archive.org, so I'll have to have a look. But the way they worded it was they'd made out that, you know, they'd invented the drone, invented the software, and it just, to me, you're on a bit of dodgy ground if you're saying that, and then you can't really back it up.
How long before they're going to sell one of these so we can get our hands on a firmware update?
They've sold loads. They've sold absolutely loads.
Did they say that though? And I'm wondering if they really have sold. We'll have to see.
I think they have in China. I think they have in China.
Well, yeah, but the point I'm making is when they said they sold last time in China, there was that Wolfpack investigation into it, and they found that they hadn't really sold. You know, you can say I've got agreed sales for something, but until that money moves, you haven't sold it. So it really depends.
Yeah, and you can also sell within subsidiaries and partner companies, and you know, that's always been a bit of a game over there. That, you know, our parent company, who no one knows is our parent company, has bought 200 of them.
So surely Dubai has bought a whole lot. They buy one of everything that's new. They had that motorbike.
Well, they had that motorbike accident, and they I'm pretty sure, and it's where I don't write these things down enough when it happens, because I go meh. That one crashed in Dubai. They had one there. I'm pretty sure they had one there for a trial, and it crashed there as well. I just can't find any evidence of that at the moment. But I'm sure they did. I'm sure there was an issue in Dubai with it. But as you say, they'll have one of everything. And I see they have got a couple of the new contenders potentially going over there. But I think they've pulled back their aspirations a little bit on that sort of thing. But now what's Ian sending me here?
Yeah, this is something we could go on to next because it's slightly linked. But what I'd say with the eHang thing, you know, they're there first to get certified, and normally I'd like to congratulate. You know, whether I like the drone design or not, I'd like to say, "Whoo, great, congratulations!" But while there's that software question, you know, it's like, is this going to be the air taxi equivalent of the Titan sub? You know, is history going to say why wasn't questions being asked, or have they done the right thing at the end and just been quiet about it? But it just seems very odd, because the last video we saw with ArduPilot messages in it was well within this 2-year certification process, and they've just said, oh well, it was a video editing mistake, that shouldn't have been there. But having said that, I even looked at the control room and how it was lit up and so on, and it didn't match earlier ones. So it kind of did look like it was a newer office they were filming it from. So it's just questions at the moment, and I'm hoping regulators ask, but I worry whether they will or they won't, because it's been the idea really, when it's certified in China, that has some credibility to then just get it certified easily elsewhere. You know, will there be the due diligence behind it? I don't know. So that's
will it pass the NCAP tests? That's the question.
So I didn't catch that, Bruce. What you say with that?
Will it pass the NCAP tests? You know, where they crash them into walls and things? Sure, they're going to do that.
Yeah, and drop them off stuff. Yeah.
I know they have done some tests. They put some videos up in the last couple of weeks about some of the impact tests. I've not looked at them in detail, but it kind of suggests there has been some testing, but whether it'll meet what we have standards over here, I don't know. But the link I've sent you, Gary, which you can click and show in a moment, is this has 2 bits. It's nuts for some reason why they didn't even need to have brought up the 5th anniversary of the Gatwick drone. But if we're going past that, there's an interesting snippet at the bottom. They've done some polling and over 50% of the population have said, well, they're not interested in flying in an eVTOL, and their concerns are cost and safety. And that's where they stand, having not seen one crash. And I think once you've seen the first crash, that's going to change.
Having not seen one crash, absolutely. So now, in its 6th year, the aviation index is back for 2023. So where's the interesting bits we should go to then, Ian? Oh, there's a nice picture.
Scroll down the bottom.
Stuff. Attitudes to flying, ready to get away. Well, not from Gatwick or anywhere like that, because the controllers have all got COVID and they won't be there.
It's quite a way down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right down bottom, I think.
Yeah, I was just looking at that graph and seeing. Oh, it's very fancy though.
It's boingy, isn't it?
Oh, it's very boingy. Look at that. Oh, there. Oh, look. We'll see then. Is that sustainable aviation fuel in the sky? Then is that where they get it from? Is it the Northern Lights?
It does. Maybe that's one of the batteries that's gone up.
It does make me laugh when they go sustainable flying. It's just not a reality, and it won't be a reality for a very, 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 very long time. It's like ships. Ships will be the same.
There's muted support for limiting the number of flights individuals can take. God, thank goodness they've done this research. I never would have come to that conclusion if they hadn't spent valuable time doing that.
But
where we go?
Here's the thing, right? So they want to limit humans' movement around the planet. So, we'd like to go out, we like to wander, we like to explore. Cars, we're getting loads of limiting car access at the minute, or they want to limit us where we can go, where we can't go. So you're already crippling your population like that. And then you're telling us we can't fly. You're telling us about our carbon footprint. I'm willing to bet that within the next 10 years, or maybe 15, they're going to go, when you're born, this is the carbon footprint you have to stick to for every year you're alive. And you're not allowed to breach that. You know what I mean? If you go on a flight, that takes away, that adds to your carbon footprint, and that means
an allocation. And the only reason you can exceed that is if you're flying to an environmental conference somewhere.
Yes. Awareness of digital control towers has almost doubled. It's got from 1 to 2 people, or 1 to 0.9 at one point. I guarantee the general public don't have a Scooby-Doo about digital control towers. I bet they've heard the word.
It's digital. All the talk down our pub.
Oh, is that? Oh, there you are. Yeah. Well, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. I'm plainly wrong.
There is an mobile phone advert that's given some sort of probably inadvertently.
Have you got an advert over there for it?
Yeah, I think it's Kevin Bacon that's in it. And but basically, they do a landing of an aircraft from somebody's front room using the kit to just say how good their fibre broadband is.
I see. So here we go. For the first time, the majority support for drone use for a range of different reasons.
And this allows them to get
5 years on since. Oh, look at that. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? 5 years on since drone sightings at Gatwick Airport disrupted 1,000 flights. My word, what a cheap shot. And of course, it wasn't Natch in charge then at the time. I won't.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I think that I don't know. I think they're on a slightly dodgy ground keep because obviously they're in charge of Gatwick now, and Gatwick does tweet a lot about it these days, and bringing it up. Since they brought that up, I figured I'd do them a nice favour and bring up one of their emails they sent to the DFT days after Gatwick. So that's now on Twitter.
Tends to support. It's very colourful, all of this, and it all ends up in 100. Yeah, surveillance and security, border patrol, photos and videos. So only. What does this actually say? I don't neither support nor oppose. Oh, I see. Okay.
If you get a bit further, I think there's a pie chart thing. Here we go. This is the better thing, because you can see there that really there's only very lightly, very small, and a fairly lightly a bit bigger, and everyone else is well, I'm not really sure where I'm going now. I'm not really that.
Yeah, 24% of people are not going to or don't know. not at all likely. 27. Oh, sorry, 27. Not very likely. 27. I see. Yes, over 50%, isn't it? Of the so very likely and fairly likely is only 34%. Perceived costs, vulnerability. They look, safety and security. Like, that's interesting. That vulnerability to hacking or terrorism is put at the top. That's very interesting. That you can see what's on the regulator's mind. Cost too expensive. Yes. Return to supersonic travel. Yes, please. We'll have that. We can get to Bruce in half the time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure Nats is actually suitable to be or the right group to be in our world. I'm certain they're not. I don't think Nats should have anything to do with drone aviation. But there we are. I'm just catching up those. There we are. Exactly, Scott. Exactly. Yeah, find all the golf scenes. Yeah. Oh. And Almac FPV, they're always in the same stream every Tuesday night because they're those sort of, well, Ian isn't actually because he's often pretending to be working. Oh, man,
he's
that's
muted.
how we like
Look,
it best.
see, old
Yeah,
muted never
I
misses
was
it.
trying some messages on the DJI thing, so yeah.
They're coming for you already.
Flying quad thing, you know, you're talking about it. I just don't get excited. I'll get excited when I see someone minced, and then I'll just sit there and go, "Well, that was always going to happen, wasn't it?"
Told you so.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, when you see the first, you know, someone come up and scoop them up in a bucket and then put it in a mincemeat packet, and then you'll just go, "Yeah, that was always going." You know, how did he die? Well, he was decapitated by one of the 5 available motors.
So it'll knock you off at the knees.
More than
eHang
that,
is really low.
Isn't it 12 on that thing?
12?
I can't
Yeah.
remember. I think it is. Just a reminder for here he comes. For those of you just joining us, should you go to sUAS News, apparently a website that I own, and you see Philip Wonka there and click in, there's a chance to win not only a gold cube, but maybe a frisbee or a sticker or a something else. In fact, anybody that's going to click in from tonight's live stream will get something if you fill out. And I'll only use your personal information to sell your children, family, and other stuff like that. No, we promise not to use your information for anything else, and that's why we don't want your email address. Just your name and address. We'll be able to find you then. But yeah, no. Click on it. Should you see Philip at any time in the next year, in fact, Philip will be popping up on occasion, and he'll have a chance to win. So just in case, and that's at. I better put the link in here because I think there's a couple of people here that don't know the website. It's like an advert and everything, isn't it? Really, but not. So it's 10 years of the cubes. That's what's happening.
Is this the sponsor spot?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, subscribe. What is it else you do? Ring the notification bell. Something else. Like all those things I don't say.
Show us your Ridge wallet. Come on. Here's that landscape going.
Oh,
Are you accessing the internet through NordVPN?
There's a distinct lack of VPN sponsorship on this channel.
Yes.
Yeah. It's you're absolutely right. It's terrible, isn't it? And nobody sent me a 3D printer. Now I saw that. I was going to actually ask you, Ian of the Printer World, chap telling me not to buy an Ender 3 V3 Anode Plus N29743.
I watched the video today as well. Yeah, funny enough. Yeah.
So I was just about to buy one of those. What should I buy instead of that then? I know you went straight to Bamboo, but what can I actually afford? That's the thing.
It depends. Look, the problem with the lower end market is there's lots of good, but where you bleed is on time and how long it. You know, they said with the Creality, the very real point they made was you'll buy it and spend half your life messing with it, and that's what Bamboo takes away. There is a lot of very good at reasonable money, though. You know, an Ender 3 isn't a bad printer, but you will mess with it for the rest of your life. I got the Sidewinder X2. If you can get it cheap enough, it's a very good printer with actually quite a big build volume as well compared to the other twos, and a full mains bed. So not only can you heat it quick, but you can electrocute yourself as well if you really wanted to. But
It's good for putting lipos on when you charge them, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a nice table, a nice little flat table.
Yeah, I haven't tried the A1 yet.
I
am hoping to get my hands on an A1 once they're available as a single unit. At the moment, they're only available with the AMSs. They will be available as a single unit in the near future, and I think it's a very good product for out the box and work. It is interesting how much effort the bigger Chinese companies are now putting into 3D printers. You know, China have owned the 3D printer market probably the last 6 years, 7 years, but Bamboo is the DJI of the 3D printer market.
Well, it is DJI.
It literally is. You know,
DJI engineers. Yeah,
it's DJI engineers. But it's just interesting. It's almost like the 3D printer market's growing up, and I do wonder what the long-term plan is here. You know, they're not just making printers; they're making appliances. They want to put one in people's homes. They want, and that this isn't about the grumpy old men like you and me in our garage. This is about our kids who, in 3 years' time or 5-10 years' time, will want their first 3D printer, and they just go, "Well, I don't know anything about them. Oh, it's in Best Buy in a box. I can hit the button and walk out the door, and just like, you know, anything I can print and it comes out." You know?
Well, I got my lad a couple of years ago in Ender 3 in England, and he was using it in Somerset, and he's taken it to university now. He's in Swansea, and blow me if one of his flatmates hasn't got the Bamboo Lab thing. So, you know, so there's in their flat of 6 students, 3 of them have got 3D printers.
Yeah, and that's the thing now. It's all, you know, for me, it's been quite interesting watching how the market is shifting. I've had one since 2014, 13, 14, I've been printing, and you know, it's come on so much now. It really, really has. I was printing something earlier, actually, just a stand for a video, just to put something on earlier. There's a lot of good cheap printers, but it's how much hassle factor you want with that.
Yeah,
that's the difference. They'll all do a great job. It's just the hassle factor.
So here's a question: when are we going to get SLS printing at home, do you think?
I don't know if we, you know, look, resin is grown as well hugely in the.
No pun intended.
Printing. Resin has grown hugely in the last few years. The resolution, they're at 8K now. The output from a quality point of view that they're getting on resin printers, and the cost, you can get a resin printer for $199 now. They're so cheap. It's insane.
It's tiny volume though, isn't it?
Yeah, smaller volume. But also you have all the hassle of resin as well. You know, resin is not a fun thing. I've done it and it's all packed away at the moment. It really, if I wanted to get into resin printing properly, I'd be buying a shed and laying it all out. Almost resin printing is like an old green room, an old you know, what's the term? Dark room.
No, dark room. Yeah, we know.
I don't think you can say that in today's modern world.
Sorry, the non-gender specific binary room.
I think Rev's, unfortunately, he's got the size of us very nicely. It's yes. I can't disagree with you, Rev.
But yeah, look, there's a lot of good options. It's down to budget and messing. If you just want to turn something on and it works, largely the Bamboo. Gravity K1, that's behind me, there, is very good, but it's not perfect.
Do you see that fellow that had one on the table and the door? That was on that video, wasn't it? And the
where
door opened.
Yeah, that one with the door opened and it smashed. He did that live. Is that the one with the door smashed? Yes.
Yeah.
He did that on a live stream. I felt for him on that. I didn't see the live stream. I could see it as I was watching the video. I could see it, and the only reason I saw it is because I've got the printer. I'm like going, "Oh no, I know what's going to happen. The door's going to go." And that is, you must be, you would have to just own that at the time. You would just have to make something of that. You can't. I do believe he went on to complain about the build quality of the printer. I'm not sure you can blame the printer when you've held it up. And
shouldn't the door hold itself when you tip it over?
at a full swing. It's not going to get that
I
kind
suppose.
of pace in
So
normal.
Is there anywhere where owning a 3D printer is now dangerous? Perchance?
Yes.
America,
I was going to do a video on 3D printers, but I'm too scared I'll lose my YouTube channel, and the people have knocked the door down now.
They are.
Absolutely.
3D printing is becoming risky.
That young lady also mentioned in that other video that we about ending the show. That young Chinese lady, name of escapes, who's not backward in coming.
Sexy cyborg. That is genuinely.
She's not backward in coming forward.
Yeah.
That is frightening that they've disappeared her over there, isn't it?
Yeah, she's been very open and said she's had her wings clipped. She is. I used to watch the channel, not regularly, but I did watch the channel. It was very good. She's an incredibly talented maker, knows her stuff as an engineer as well. I think there's a lot of weird stuff, because if you read the article as well, Gar, they were talking about how the West press did some weird stuff, and they almost outed her, which didn't help as well. And look, it's China. She's part of the LGBT community, and her partner is of a certain ethnic origin as well. And I think she was on Twitter saying what she thought about everything. And reality is that was only going to end badly if you were over there. What they need to do is get
Jack Ma. Is it Jack Ma? Is he the other one that disappeared? The guy from AliExpress?
Yeah, I think he came back, didn't he?
There's billionaires. There's a real story about many billionaires vanishing in China. It's becoming a real thing. Look, let's be open here. When was the last time anyone heard from Frank Wang? Here's an interesting point. DJI's co-founder has not done an interview, a comment, anything that I can see for 5 years. He has vanished in the last 5 years. Not a single hint of Frank Wang even exists in the last 5 years.
Well, there's your proof drones are dangerous.
That's very true. I'm going to Google it right now. Yep. And they only brought him out for a couple of interviews as well, didn't they? Really?
Yeah, they wheeled him out for a few at the end. He did a big Forbes one, if you remember. That was really interesting. That's going back 2016, I think. The Forbes one, 2017.
He talked. Well, according to How to Evolve into a Future Man, TEDx, 30th November 2022.
Well, no, that's not him.
Is that actually him?
No.
Is that actually him? No. Yeah, let me have a look.
Ian is the new Julian Assange. Now we have Welsh leaks, not WikiLeaks.
Yeah, different one.
I've been thinking of doing this stuff. The only reason I know this, I've been thinking of running it on the channel, but I haven't. But I have thought about, where is Frank Wang? Where is he? He has, he could be in the background, but he was feeling.
You don't think he left and formed another company because he saw how much profit DJI was making and he wanted to? That's it.
What it was. It a drone for like $10
with a couple of other engineers. That explains everything.
Yeah. Did the patent run out? Did it? Something like that?
Is he doing the YouTube advert drone that I keep seeing appearing?
No, never. No, I haven't seen that. All I see now is he's been. Do you know energy lies beneath your feet? You've been conned for years and years.
I was going to do an expert. I busted on that one because I got a whole lot of other information on it. And so many people just want to believe stuff for no reason, And I guess those people are still running their cars on water by putting an electrolysis thing under the bonnet, are they?
What you'll find, Gary, is when you look into Frank, you'll find a lot of articles bringing up his name and alongside DJI, so DJI's Frank Wang, Frank Wang's DJI. But if you cut through the noise and try and find when was the last statement or any actual comment or cut of something he said, it goes back a long way.
Wang Tao being his real name.
Yeah, it goes back a very long way.
Now, Philip Wonka, Wang Tao, it's all there. It all comes together, doesn't it? It all sort of, it all leads down one road. Let's see if we can find. Yeah, I have not, but I've always thought it was weird that he came out. 19th century, what was Chinese translator, reformer, and political columnist was Wang Tao. I always thought it was strange he came out for one, but he did used to go to shows, didn't he?
Yeah. But not even on a product release, a single comment. Because he used to make a comment on all of his product releases, very much like Steve and Johnny Ive did in Apple. They had that very similar, that Frank would just have some cut, some comments in the middle of it saying, I'm really proud of the team of what they've delivered here, or something. And it's all vanished in recent years. He is invisible. He just doesn't exist anymore.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yes. Now you've got me thinking. Never seen the same place at the same time. Yes, Wang Tao. Yeah, absolutely. Gosh. Yeah, as you say, someone said taken away for re-education. As Cool Cat says. Yes. This is YouTube because I don't get that. Mama JF. I'm not following that joke, Cool Cat. I'm afraid I'm not following that one. So what else have we seen this week, gentlemen? It seems to have been another lots of delivery drones. Oh, that's right. The CAA is enabling, the UK is enabling lots and lots of BVLOS drone flying, and it's all going to be amazing, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing.
They put a tweet. Did you see their tweet where they said it's illegal to fly without registration? And I asked, but is it safe? And they don't reply to me. They acknowledge I exist because I saw in one of Sean's videos, but they don't reply to my responses to their tweets. Why not?
No, they don't.
Yes.
They don't tend to. Here's what made me laugh. BT and eHang have got together to make a drone flying sim. It's like,
yes.
Don't tell anyone, but back in 2014, 2012, 2011, people were flying on sims back then. Don't tell anyone, because they might discover that, holy shit, we could already do this stuff.
I don't think it's. Sorry, Ian, after you.
I'll just say it's just marketing at the end of the day, anyway, isn't it? And as we've said before, the mobile players just want us to be having sims in drones so they can cash in on all the drone flights. They want a piece of the pie. I mean, if you look at it, was funny as I was going back over the PwC data, because I remember when Gareth Caulfield, the Register, is now Telegraph Register back then, looking at it, he said that would make it bigger than telecoms, and I checked. He's right. The prediction, which obviously we don't know if it'll come true, and certainly when if you get bad press and regulation, it won't. But the prediction they put out would make it 1.5 times bigger than the telecoms industry, and it would make it somewhere around about 6 times more people employed. So while I don't put too much confidence in those predictions, it's still interesting that they've seen it being that big. So if it ever did get that big, that would that's wow.
But every regulator everywhere said, no way are we allowing C2 links over mobile data. Everywhere said that. So I'm not sure what the secret what the magic of that magical sim that stays connected, etc., is. I really don't.
You can do it. The sim's just the module that does the communicates. You're quite right. There's no way you can just solve all the issues with the sim. At the end of the day, they would have to have some radio module, and what they'd be wanting to do is just say, oh, well, we'll just have to roll out a load more cell sites, blah blah blah, and maybe then be giving the government a nudge and saying, oh yeah, you ought to be paying for some of this rather than us just doing it. I don't know, but yeah, you're quite right. If you tried to do things off the mobile network, you would hit no end of issues.
Yeah, and that, for many, well, since forever, they've said no way we're going to allow it. I mean, far be it from me to have known people that have done not just over the horizon, but over the hemisphere flying via the 4G network. I mean, that sort of thing would never happen from southern to northern hemisphere. Impossible. And and I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a company in Lesotho that use a drone that they put on a table and fly it from. Brian's also joining, Brian Barnes. Also, and they now I know who Rev B is. Aha, I have your data. Yeah, and they fly it from Australia. It's in the diamond mine, and they fly it from Australia. Well, they've done that for years. So yeah, it's all nonsense. It's all nonsense.
So here's a question for you: who do you think makes the more money for the CAA in the UK? Do you think it's the remotely piloted aircraft sector, or is it general aviation? Who makes the CAA the more money?
Definitely RPAS. That needs to be well. How would you put that as a FOIA? I wonder.
Well, funny enough, hopefully you've got that somewhere. I did send you a message.
You did. What did you send in? Book of the Face? I can't remember. I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yes, I will look now. Yes. Quick, talk about something else while I'm finding it.
Did you see? I put that video up. You know, everyone's been saying, "Oh, the US politicians ordered the FAA to introduce remote ID." But when you go back to 2017, you'll see that it was the FAA lobbied Congress to introduce remote ID. So Congress has just come back and followed that and told them to do it. So FAA is still the driving force behind remote ID in the USA. People have forgotten about that congressional committee meeting where the FAA was saying.
I saw your
That's why I raised that again, because people are saying, "Oh, the FAA is not to blame here," but they are. Them and the Commercial Drone Alliance are the evil partners in that setup.
Yeah,
well,
and they absolutely were.
Getting remote ID as well for Europe at some point soon.
Some interesting comments actually on RID. I need to do some more testing, but I've had 2 users confirm that having the RID module on their aircraft has had a very detrimental effect on their RC control link.
Yeah.
Really?
And well, it makes complete sense on the same band, doesn't it? So it's and as in Express LRS being wiped out at 200-300 meters, which is
it should only be transient because it's only broadcasting once a second. So it should basically, unless it's desensitizing it, and there's a period where
it's the front end overload, I suspect.
Because
there's, let's be honest, these receivers are not made with front end filtering at all, and it's the old when you've got it on the bench next to you, the old FR Sky telemetry lost, telemetry recovered.
They overload real easy.
And this could be detrimental because you would never do this to manned aircraft would never put anything on that would drastically interfere with its control system,
or raise the level of risk for the pilot.
Yeah.
Yes.
RID becomes too risky. Why
would we Mark? Send me that thing again, Mark. It's not opening. I see you sent it on Wednesday. It's not opening.
And see these drones behind me here, somewhere over there.
Sec. Yes, see those? Yes.
They may be gone next year because our new Civil Aviation Act comes into effect. And under that act, let me just quote the words they say. It says, this section applies if a constable or response officer has reasonable grounds to believe that an aircraft that is designated to be operated without a pilot on board is being or is about to be operated in the commission of an offence under the civil aviation legislation, or used in the commission of an imprisonable offence under any act, or operated in a manner that will likely to endanger people or property. It means that they can enter a place or a vehicle or other thing and search for the aircraft, prevent the aircraft from taking off, seize the aircraft and anything being used or may be used to control the aircraft, detain the aircraft and anything that may be used to control it, destroy the aircraft. So they can wander in here under this new act and say, we've seen your videos, you're going to pose a danger to people with these, we're taking them all and setting them on fire. And there's nothing I can do about it.
It sounds like they've copied what we've done over here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not acceptable. Regulation should be proportionate to risk. And that is just, who gets to decide whether that is potentially dangerous or, no, I'm sorry, I'm not having that.
The person that's got to decide is your paranoid NIMBY neighbour because they're obviously very, very sensible about things.
Oh, yeah, well, I'd trust them. Yeah. Did you see that thing in the Daily Mail where all the people in Scotland, or a couple of people in Scotland, scared because they saw a paramotor flying overhead? God, how far has this society dissolved into a bunch of sissies and girls? When I was a young man, men were men and sheep were scared. Now, women are men too, and the sheep are everywhere.
That was the politically correct response from Bruce.
I do worry that there is a bit of element of that to life these days, to utter risk aversion or scared of the very slightest thing.
We're being indoctrinated. Hand over your freedoms, hand over your privileges, hand over your rights, and the government will take care of you. But you must give us these things so we can keep you safe and secure. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you seen the average politician? I wouldn't trust him to keep the veggie patch secure.
Yeah. It's I do worry. I do worry that youngsters, that they don't get bored and things like that, and so they don't get up to as much mischief as they should in some ways, which is no bad thing, I guess.
I'm just glad I've got my 3D printer. I can fend them off at the door.
Exactly. So yeah, so when will we be getting our Bamboo Labs copies? Never, I suppose. No, Ian's not.
I don't know. We've seen a few. Creality is the first copy, which they've had their problems with. The K series. Again, what Bamboo are doing well is software and hardware integration.
Yes,
it's the two. If you actually Bamboo have done nothing special. Anyone could have done what they did, yet they all struggled with it. And it's the same thing. And as bad as we know DJI are at software, what DJI have done very well is their app and the drone works together, and it generally most of the time works. And the door was left wide open and Bamboo stepped through it. The problem is everyone's now running around going, "Oh, we could do something similar," but it's the Apple. It's the old. What made Apple as successful as it is today? It was the vertical integration, software, hardware, and delivering a product to a user that just works. And I think that's the problem a lot of these Chinese companies have, is they just don't understand software or the importance of good software. And that's the issue. We see that in drones, we see that in FPV, we see it in everything,
Even their EVs.
Right, I've got this FOIA thing. Okay, here it comes, Mark. Here it is. Do you want to talk as well, he's not there now. He's gone. Income. So let's have a look. This is the last level. Summary of red loss, black profit, GA. Oh, look at that. It's red all across the bottom there for GA. But I'm not sure what I'm looking at there.
That looks like my big statement. Red across the bottom.
Mark, come back. GA revenue from other charging schemes. Airworthiness not identified.
Well, I got a $2 million asset in that Raspberry Pi by the bed here that does the registration database.
You do, yes, you do. It'll be up. Trust Mark to go away when he could have explained.
This looks like it's over time, doesn't it? So 16 to 17, so 2016, 2017, 17, 18. So it's showing over time how RPAS keeps.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it keeps growing, doesn't it?
Yep.
2021 would be interesting then. Oh, well, no, not because of the human malware year, I suppose. But
I was to say Mark's in now, so he can explain it all for us all.
Yeah, explain it, Mark.
Well, to be honest, it's someone else's freer, and I just sort of grabbed it off the net. But basically, it is year by year. So this shows what each department has made year on year, if you like. And it starts off, you can see 2016, 2017. So general aviation was a loss. However, the UAS sector, you can see it was a profit. And you can see it creep up. And what you can see is it creep quite nicely. And it's looking good as it jumps up. 2018 is looking good. 2018, 19 is looking really good. But what's going to be interesting is 2019, 20.
Oh, he's gone away. Oh, there we go. It's the authorities stepping in.
It's
conspiracy time.
It's happening again.
CAA spending too much money on blocking his internet.
Like I said, so it's looking like when it's got to 21, 22, it's dropped over half. So it makes you wonder, well, what's gone on there then?
What happened in
2020?
What happened in that year? Yeah, I suppose maybe not re-registering after, that 2020 or 2020 into 2021. That I mean, had that event not happened in 2020, would that have continued? And all right, well, how can the CAA justify having a general aviation department if it makes £1 million loss every year, or £1.5 million loss? It's a lost leader, yeah.
So they can sell more eggs and bread.
Eggs and bread. Let's try and get him back in. Hang on. There he is. We're getting back in. We're just saying, Mark, how can they have a GA department if it keeps making a loss? You get rid of it, wouldn't you?
Well, there is always that thought, isn't there? I mean, the CAA in the UK is not allowed to actually make more than a 5% profit. So, because it's a DFT company or government company, it can't make more than 5%. But it gets really interesting. I want to know or understand, when we got the operator ID appeared like 2020, didn't it?
I don't know. I don't know.
You can see the jump in 2020. Oh, so Damares is included. So look at the jump for the Damares. So Damares is the drone. That's the operator ID for everyone. Because it came in, I think it was, you had to be registered by the end of 2020, I think it was. Or end of 2019 for 2020, should I say. And you look at the jump, though.
Yeah.
There,
So that's
1.3 million they made. Holy smokes. If you look at that jump alone, that shows you how much Damares made. But there's an important factor. That's the profit. Damares costs the CAA around £2.5 to £3 million to build.
But the point is they didn't pay it. The DFT paid for it. So I think they paid for the whole cost. And then the CAA, though, I think it costs $1 million or $2 million every year to run. I don't know how that figure ever comes about. How was something so expensive to run? Well, that's the impression that I've been given. So,
yeah, I think when we went to the CA, we were told it was going to be like, because they have to access it, because it's the CA doesn't control it, if you like. There's another team that look after it, from what I understood at the time. So they will then request information, but if they want to put any kind of request, you've got to have staff to do that. So
I'm just puzzled by it, because if you think about it, you can employ someone, it's London wages, whatever else, but it'd be about 50k.
London wages.
How many people on 50k do you have to be employing to make it that so expensive? Well, an army of people.
I mean,
biscuits. Don't forget biscuits.
Well, yeah, and don't forget the CA does charge. So if you're putting an OSC in, let's say you've applied for an OSC, operational safety case, which is beyond PDR 01, the CAA charges £2,000 or £1,800 for the initial application. But at that point there, you sign a blank check. You sign a blank check. So you're saying every hour after 8 hours, they can charge you £253 per hour.
I think Ian Lafoyer needs to concoct something that generates more information for us about this. I don't really understand it, but that's a good start. It's a very good starting point, that's for sure. Let's see if this works. It does work.
Yeah, I just thought, when you're looking for other news, it was just interesting that this is the BBC's tech correspondent, and someone stuck the BT drone gun in her hand, which I don't think it's BT anyway. I think they sell it on behalf of Drone Shield or something, isn't it?
Yes.
What an ugly thing! So big.
Well,
so
you can't talk about that.
It's just the dress she's wearing, man.
That's not fair. You can't say that.
Just because she's dressed funny, you can't call her ugly.
Yeah, but she's very good at sticking to slopey ground. So I mean, that's a skill in itself.
The cameraman was on the P, wasn't he? And which end do you hold? I mean, what a goodness! Oh, what a
they do smaller guns now. Certainly, I don't know if it's them or a competitor, but I think they might themselves. But the thing I think is daft about this is I don't think you should have anything that's looking like a gun, because it's been sold essentially to, you could be a civilian. It's not necessarily police that could be having these. It's civilian security guards around.
What are they protecting from? Where are all the drone attacks that need these things?
The point
it's
is
got to be aliens, because that looks like it's from a flipping. It looks like it's from Space 1999, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The recoil must be terrible.
They're trying to sell paranoia so that companies buy this. But the one thing that worries me is when you do it as a gun. If someone looking out from their flat over a city centre and they see a bloke walking around on a roof with something like that from a distance, they'll think, well, he's got a gun, they'll call it armed police, they're wasting police time. And there could be that eventually where someone actually does get shot because they think this thing's a real gun when it's not. So I don't even know why they do that. I do them in bright colours, different things, something that just says straight away, this isn't a gun. It's what it is, a counter drone device. But the interesting thing with this was just really that there's quite a few drone people that have gone in there, replied to it. I mean, I jumped in as well just to say that these kind of a bit, they're on fear. They're not necessarily all that effective. You've got two issues. You're either going to cause collateral damage because you're forcing a drone down when its GNSS is denied. It's not, it's going to go with the wind, so you don't know where it's going to end up. But B, it's not hard to circumvent it. Now, I've just noticed actually from going to your website with the Cube Pilot thing, when you go through to the Cube Pilot thing, Philip's got a new module for optical flow and LiDAR built in. So you can use that for your position hold anyway. You've got dead reckoning in the software again for the loss of GPS. And also, we talked about it last week, and I had a quick look at it. There's that, and it's a module you buy, and I think it adds 500 grams to it. So it's still, to a slightly bigger drone. But they took it to a show, and they was shooting it with the jammer guns to prove that actually it would still function. So it's kind of a protected GPS module.
It's a breach of Ofcom to use something like that unless you are authorized. How they can second sell it to civilian users? You can't allow. You're not allowed to use it.
And in fact, even military users and police users, there's all sorts of situations. Well, this is what they used at the Melbourne Grand Prix, wasn't it? And they were mucking about with it on the roof before one of the practice runs, and they took out the timing computer or something like that. Well, yeah,
but then they deny the two things. It's obviously all been denied. The two things are related, but we'll never know.
Come on.
It's highly coincidental.
Very coincidental that the GPS timing system got jammed while they were arsing about with one of these on the roof. But very coincidental. But what on earth is that antenna? What is that antenna on that thing?
It looks like a log periodic or something they're using for wide frequency, high gain.
Yeah. Okay. But that's 1 point. What would that would be? Well, I suppose 1.29 900. They're not too far away.
I've got FPV on 3.3 gigs here.
3.3.
Yeah, I have got a 3.3 gig analog FPV system. You couldn't jam that with any of this crap.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, you can't even do a lot of the drone stuff as well, because there was a nice thing. It's linked actually in this discussion, but because
I don't know what either of those things are.
If you're using one of the new BT SIM things, would the SIM thing be invulnerable to this? The one that they're promoting, that SIM for drones?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, there you go. See, they're doing this so they can market their SIM.
Both things. Yeah.
The problem they have is, if you're a security guard, the ones at the Australian Grand Prix got bored and fired it towards the timing or whatever. You imagine you're a security guard and you fire it at a helicopter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Does this thing really work? Oh, dear.
I hope it's got a laser pointer on it for targeting.
I'll send you on another Twitter link to click, because this is the funny thing about the marketing of these kind of guns. All you need to do, this is all a terrorist needs to do, is just go on to Google, and if you click the link I've sent you, Gary, you can demonstrate
it now. I'm doing it now. Oh yeah, okay. Let's present share screen. Oh, it's seamless, absolutely seamless. Come on, share. There we go.
There we go. They provide you with these brilliant photos so you can see every single band it can jam, and so you can see like the Team Black Sheep transmitter, for
5.8.
Yeah, so it's on a different frequency to these. I think it's 8 something.
868, the European one.
There's no 5.8 on there either. Which was it 5.8? Oh
yeah,
yeah,
there's 5.8.
5.8, 433, 915.
But what's OcuSync 4? 5.2.
And which one is it?
Ian's
you can only jam one channel at once. So which controller is it? Does 900 and 2.4? Oh, it's
Ghost does both. So Ghost will do 2.4 900. Crossfire is 900. Traces
multiplex.
FR Sky will also do 2.4 and 900.
Long wire for the win, 27 megahertz. Yes.
The new FR Sky tandem system does
35 megahertz should be all right. Model flying frequencies.
DJI 04 does do, as Bruce quite rightly said, basically 5.2. It's 5.15 to 5.21, I think it is. But 5.
Yeah, but the only one you'd really care about there is GNSS.
Yeah,
that's
which is L1 and L2. Yeah.
No, you see, only if it's on a waypoint mission does that matter at all.
On a modern DJI stuff, it'll force it to the ground. If it loses GPS, it'll enter ATTI, but you could still force it. It'll still automatically trigger return to home.
The home point has been obliterated.
Well, like we said, if you had Dead Reckoning on, that's going to cope with it anyway. And if you use other mitigations, and you've got the optical flow, there's other things it can fall back to.
Just fly under FPV.
Hang on a sec, Ian. You're telling me that if I'm flying a Mavic 3 Cine, right? Yeah. And they wipe out the GNS, I can't.
It'll tell you, force you to land.
That's really...
ATTI, but it will trigger the auto landing as part of it. Usually now, DJI have introduced a few extras.
Does it come with wire cutters for control line drones?
Some of the DJI stuff though, with an error on that, would actually go to ATTI.
Well,
so it depends on your drone.
That's what I thought. So that's why I went to Ian and went.
Yeah, it goes to ATTI, but it will trigger now their fail-safe procedure.
Yeah, but you can abandon the return to home or land.
Be able to abandon it. Yeah. But remember, if you look in the Mavic 3 manuals and all of them, they've changed all of the attitude behavior now. It doesn't do what it used to do. Like, you can't take off in ATTI anymore without GPS. I think it limits you to 30 meters in height without having GPS. You don't have full control over these quads now.
Well, don't the police refer to that as flyaway mode when they're flying?
Let me grab a Mavic 3 manual.
I just found that intriguing. Obviously, if it's Ardu Pilot or Pix, then it's irrelevant. Jamming G.
It'll carry on as it'll think. No, DJI have taken away a lot of the manual. That's why there's no manual. Well, basically, when they took away attitude mode, is when they started restricting what the aircraft would be able to do.
Okay. It's interesting.
So is it using the optical flow on it then to try and land?
Yeah, it'll use that once it gets in. It'll use the optical flow within whatever the range is now, because they've increased it quite a lot. I think it's 30 meters. I think it works. But it obviously, if you were higher than that and it entered ATTI, what it would do is begin a countdown into failsafe, as far as I understand it. And if you did nothing, it would go into landing.
So what I'm thinking about though, so if you're going to landing, you've got wind. You're not landing. You're drifted.
You saw it. Yeah.
So who's going to be first to hack the obstacle avoidance and turn it into targeting?
That has been mentioned in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I have seen that mentioned. Yeah.
Well, the thing to take away from this as well is you shouldn't be operating one of those drones without tactical-looking leather gloves, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But this is what I'll just get one of these. And
I'm getting high vis for my 3D printer.
Get your Spark Gab out. But funny enough, when I first saw the first counter UAS thing at Farnborough in 2010, I think it was. Yeah, that'd be right. And they had buttons like this on it, and they had it pointed at Heathrow because they were showing us the cameras tracking the planes coming in at Heathrow. And I said, and it had a big GPS button or GNSS button. And I said, to him, but you can't touch that button. You're not. If you touch that and fire that now, who's regulating this? Who's allowing you to do? Oh, mutter. You just can't do it. I mean, even the military would be hard pressed, unless there's a war on. That's the only caveat. Would be hard pressed to use any of this. Just look every time they have their trials, all the huge NOTAMs that come out for it, and warnings that go everywhere. So
I wonder if this will detect bombs as well.
Wow.
Same kind of technology, I'm thinking. Is that a turbo boost button?
Sorry.
Go, mate.
Well, yeah, it's a horrible world we live in, isn't it, at the minute?
I'm going to say it was revealed, though, in that inadvertent DFT release on the spreadsheet. With Gatwick, they did end up approving a jammer. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Careful.
Did you see, speaking of official information act requests, they've been using AI to remove the redactions in some redacted documents, and it's doing a very, very good job, apparently.
Fantastic.
I don't know how you do that. I mean, I guess it might be
a pen.
No, because they can interpret from other documents and what's most likely to be in that place, I suppose, and it works it out. And apparently there's quite a high success rate when they've tested it.
Oh, that's interesting. We're not seeing that. We've got comments on LinkedIn, but we're not seeing them on here. I
was going to say, I'll put the other link in as well there for you, Gary, which is something we have briefly chatted about, but you've probably not shown it on the screen, but it might just be worth. I don't know if there are any photos or not, though, so how much use it'll be, I don't know, but it might just be worth Googling the company and seeing if they've got photos of it. But it's a link to when the GPS anti-jamming solution to be demonstrated. But it'd be interesting just to see how big the module is, what they charge for it, that kind of thing.
The leaders in, well, I know he's not watching right now because he's in a meeting, and funnily enough, but anyway, there's Serpentrino people, I think, are the leaders in the anti-jamming drone things.
Just put a ground plane under your GPS receiver, because the jamming signal is going to come from below when the GPS comes from above, and bingo.
Oh, they've got a video demo.
You and your common sense. How very dare you? How very dare you? Yeah, there's hang on, let's stop sharing this one.
I've just pasted in a video demo of it, actually, Gary. I've not watched it. I've just.
You want to run it? Do you want to run it from here? I think you can, can't you?
I'm just going to try to see what's going on. I like this video. It's got the macho American voice that sounded military going, GPS dome.
I'm thinking it. I'll see if I can share it. Here we go. Here we go. Present. Share screen. This one. That one. Can you see it?
Yes.
GPS jamming has become the number one to defensive commercial drones. Without
Can you hear it?
Signals,
yes.
A little higher. We want to hear that dramatic voice.
And cannot complete operations.
Drone 7.
The easiest way to make a drone crash to the ground is to jam its GPS.
Oh no!
Therefore, we developed GPS Dome. a GPS protection solution tailored for defending drones and vehicles from jamming attacks.
Already.
GPS Dome provides a robust cyber shield.
Wow, that's
allowing the protected platform to safely
it's got shields. Shields up, Mr.
complete
Wolf.
missions in a GPS-challenged environment. The only system relevant to fit a drone in terms of size, weight, and power consumption. And can be easily installed on a variety of platforms.
We can use it in the rain.
Ground, air, manned, and autonomous. GPS Dome is field proven and operationally deployed on defense and homeland security worldwide.
They spent all their money on this video, didn't they?
Protect your GPS and resilient navigation with GPS Dome.
Yeah, okay.
I do get that.
Take my money. Take my money.
That's at least 2 or 3 million in VC funding in that video, right there, right? Spouted up the thing. That was emailed to a bunch of generals in the military, going, "You don't need a new gold toilet seat. You need one of these."
Protect your drones. Protect against drones with our toilet roll throwing device. That's all you need.
So that's from 2022. Sepentrio. They seem to have the best ones for the anti-spoofing things, best chipsets, and they've just who's that make a lot in America?
It's this whole thought that you can anti-spoof in the Facebook, right? You anti-spoof GPS. You can block GPS. GPS is such a weak signal.
Yes,
there is
25
no amount
of space.
of noise that all you've got to do is pump a watt or two of RF directly at the GPS antenna, and it's stuffed. It's lost it all. So the solution isn't that. The solution is, how do you give alternative ways of navigation? So ground-based cameras is number one, but also if you look at what Autopilot were trialing with that Compass software, that when they had a problem, it would be able to self-correct, and then you need to be able to work back from gyro. So be able to log the gyro and work back from movement. So what was the moves that got the aircraft to this position without GPS? Can I do that in reverse? And that would be the real key.
Breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Breadcrumbs. Yeah. Loaf of bread. Every that's why the new DJI FPV one will be able to carry a loaf of bread. And
but long-range FPV solves all these problems. If you've got a camera, you can see where you go and you can control it. You even don't need GPS.
The funny thing with all of this stuff, you see all this type of stuff, we have seen the impact that a quad like, let me grab one.
Why are you finding it? Scott
has he got one that's not broken?
Scott's got to trademark that electronic rain. I like that.
Yeah.
Electronic rain. When electronic rain comes your way.
Yeah, electronic rain.
That, Scott. Yeah, very good.
What you can do with this, they can throw all the technology at it they want, right? This will outdo all. That's it. But they can keep playing games with all this stuff.
Won't make any difference. I've seen Ian fly. It'll be crashed anyway.
It'll be crashed anyway. But this is acro mode, no GPS, nothing can. You can do, if you really wanted to be clever, you could actually do an RC control link. You could just install Autopilot and tell it to go mission anyway, or iNav can do it, or any of them, and just.
But what they forget,
is worried about Mitchell. But just before we carry on, Mitchell and the sort of women that he hangs around with, should that be the case? But
his
anyway,
glasses are fogging.
Yeah.
The thing they forget with all this jamming stuff is the only signal the drone needs to hear is the RC signal. You can't jam a transmitter, so they're going to get the FPV back, right? It's going to the camera signal is going to come back to you. It doesn't matter what you throw at the drone. So all you need is a robust enough control signal. And there are so many frequencies because that's a relatively low-tech piece of stuff. You can use pulse width modulation like the old analog stuff. You can just fire 27 megahertz, 35 megahertz, anything you like. You can build a transmitter, in your bathroom and have that controlling.
Because no one would be expecting 27 megs. Do you know what I mean?
And all those little toy cars that reverse.
Especially your good buddies.
You
could even use an infrared laser.
Yeah.
Lasers. Well, it brings me a little bit onto these double. I still don't understand. I'm glad we got Ian there now as well. These double data sending super duper radio.
Did my dancing explanation not do it for you guys?
It was very, very, very good. It was very, very good. Yeah. And now the gallery.
Now through the medium of mime, I shall explain Gemini.
Marcel Marceau interpretation.
I
might actually go and cut that to mime. I'm thinking about that.
It's not just a pure. Funny enough, and again, my son in Swansea, one of his flatmates, his mum's on Bake Off. But anyway, and the other one's got that's because she's got the sign interpreter, hasn't she?
Yeah.
So
you get into Bollywood, are you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But. Well, Bruce, you must have seen his videos on that now. What's your thought?
I never watched Ian's videos.
Oh,
they would be giving him views. I must have actually seen it.
I am waiting to do a video on it, but yeah,
the Gemini, the two frequency system.
Yeah. All you do is independently hop opposite ends of the band, in essence, and that, it's not magical.
It's a solution looking for a problem.
But if one, will it jump from 2.4 to 900?
No, it's in 2.4. Yes. Now the only people who do 2.4 to 900 at the moment is, believe it or not, FrSky with Tandem. Tandem is capable of transmitting on both. I think
Jetty do
it, as well, don't they? Yeah, FrSky is the cheaper one, their Tandem system, and I suspect we will see a full Express LRS version of that. But there's also 433 coming back into play as well. 4.3, you're going to see some 433 stuff coming for RC controlling.
Yeah, antennas are so big on receivers. Those the only problem with those things.
Yeah.
433, big antennas. How do you fit that on a quad? You can't. Yeah. And but the whole thing about having like the 915 and the 2.4. It's kind of silly because 2.4 band is 84 megahertz wide. Anything that's going to saturate 84 megahertz of bandwidth is going to be probably overloading the receiver anyway. It's so much RF energy required to do that. And because frequency hopping, you only need to get 10% of your packets through, and you've still got sufficient for control. So if 90% of the band is full and you're frequency hopping, you've still got control.
Yeah, it depends what you're doing, isn't it? And that's the key, isn't it? As you say,
if you're doing sort of freestyle drone stuff, but if you're just flying an aircraft, it's not a problem.
Yeah, and you couldn't really use Gemini in a race environment. Where it would be beneficial, actually, is in a race environment, trying to get around to the control links. However, the problem is you would just be wiping out everyone else at that point, and that becomes the overall issue.
Cheers, Mark.
And there's some interesting stuff coming on the RC side. Express LRS has absolutely pushed it forward. There's a lot of people getting excited about OpenIPC. I am not. I'm really not excited about this. I could be a bit Debbie Downer on it, but perhaps I'm still not seeing anything yet that really makes me think it's viable. I'm waiting for a bit of hardware to calm down, and then I'll order some in and see. What worries me with it is I've seen nothing to demonstrate the link resilience. So it looks, everything has been very straight and flat. And the second they did any moves, it just fell apart instantly, let alone if a leaf gets between you and the aircraft.
Yeah, okay for control on FPV though.
Yeah.
As long as the wires don't touch.
Again, to a point, I do also think, Bruce, some people may not agree, it's a solution looking for a problem. It's not.
I see that video.
But that is the thing, isn't it? I mean, especially I'm looking now, so much of the stuff that's coming out, the market's saturated, everyone's got transmitters, everyone's got everything, they're all set up. So manufacturers are trying to come up with great ideas for problems you don't have, but you must have it because it's the latest thing. And I think that dual frequency thing is exactly an example of that. I don't hear people saying, oh, my planes keep crashing, my drones keep crashing because I had interference. No one has had interference on 2.4 that I know of, So do you really need that extra resilience? No, but the manufacturer is going to tell you, you must have it because otherwise we can't sell you any new gear.
You tend to find on 2.4 as well, you either get really bad range or it's fine. 2.4 tends to be, in my experience, it's never like, oh, I couldn't get as far today. It's either I'm having all sorts of problems or I'm absolutely fine. And the thing with OpenIPC, if you look at the cost, they're saying you can build a digital FPV system for under $70. I'm not being funny. The cheapest digital system now is around $220. For the hassle factor of spending 6 hours messing with software and soldering wires to a camera and all of this, I don't see the benefit in that.
And don't forget, you can still get analog for just a few cents.
Yep, analog is still, and there's new analog cameras still coming out this week, Bruce. There's been a few more, hasn't there? There's been some stuff.
Yeah, I still fly. More than half my flying still analog. I
flew analog the other day. It was horrific. So
you've probably got HDIs. Mine are only SD. I don't care.
HDIs.
Yeah, HDI.
Well,
and the frame rate's dropping too.
I really want to see the control line FPV video now. I really want to.
Won't we? Yes.
I want to see that. You could spoof all sorts of.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that Express video done. I'm slowing down on a lot of stuff I've done for the last 12 months, and I want to get back to some of the more technical stuff because I've just not had time. And that's the plan for the winter period. Obviously, the weather's gone here now. Bruce is heading into summer now, aren't you, Bruce? Are you all right?
T-shirt.
Yeah, we're into winter, and it's hitting hard here in the UK already. I've had a review which I've just finished. It's taken me like 3 weeks to have enough flight time to be happy to be able to make a comment, and I just can't. I'm going to pretty much stop the reviews now. Not all of them, but 90% of stuff will stop. Now, reviews is a difficult world. You just get it takes so much time.
Absolutely.
I'm still waiting for LC model reviews to do something. When was the last time, Bruce?
I did the Jumper T20, and they sent me not only a replacement antenna but a new radio. So I'm about to
jump a review. I enjoyed your golden knobs, Ian. Was it golden knobs you said?
My golden knob, my giant golden knob.
Definitely the Trump edition of that radio you got.
It's very nice in that color. But yeah, it's the Max. It's actually pretty good value considering the bits on it compared to if you bought them separate. It's not terrible. Radio Max. I don't know where RCs are going to go in the next 12 months. That's a world I don't know where they're going to end up now. That's really just going round in circles.
I think we'll see a whole lot of remote ID devices coming from RC manufacturers, and probably attempts to build remote ID into receivers, because, like it or not, a lot of people are going to comply, and that's the market.
Yeah, to be honest, that would make a lot of logic. Tossing what.
And also, you'll see transmitters with GPS in them, so that you can use and have them certified so they can be used as standard remote ID for manufacturers that are shipping bind and flies and that sort of stuff. So we're going to see there's a bit of room for growth there.
It'd be very interesting to see if the FAA come back with their wanting higher precision GPSs, because again, depending on where that GPS is in the controller, you could blank it with your hand. But it's let's not go down that rabbit hole again. All right, so what else have we seen before we go? Shall I know? I'm going to say it for Cliff. I've typed it for Cliff. If you go onto SES News now, it might actually finish now for today, and see Philip Rouse as Willy Wonka. Click on him and you can enter a competition, and absolutely everybody that's entered this week is going to get us something.
You're in the draw to win a Ridge wallet.
Yeah, you is
Shoes.
Sorry,
Bessie shoes.
Oh no,
you've got to be watching the other channels for that.
I don't be watching all those OnlyFans things like you. And Scott would even review my plywood drone. I'm sure he would.
I would. Yeah.
He'll review a burger. He'll review a burger.
Yeah.
Yes, plywood is definitely. Yeah, if he's willing to take the risk, that's right.
Send me two, because I may bin one on there. I'd definitely be interested in a plywood drone.
And the other Ian can't talk to us about anything because he's under all sorts of legal obligations now, which is
surprised he hasn't vanished and ended up in a ditch yet.
I'm not sure that the CAA are into, or I'm not sure that. Well, maybe Gatwick. Oh no, I shouldn't even have said that. But anyway,
the Gatwick ditch incident.
The Gatwick ditch incident.
Is he really here? Is it just not AI animation to make us all think he's still alive?
That's true.
Can't wait to
Could be. Could be. Well, I look forward to that. Are you allowed to mention any dates for that, Ian, or because when will that all be over? Or
I don't know. To be fair,
okay.
but I think these things it'll probably be a couple of months or something like that. I'm not precluded from speaking about Gatwick per se, but there's just quite bits of it that I can't. So I'm probably better. As you stopped me earlier, probably wise thing to do.
Probably, yes, probably. All right then. On that bombshell, dear viewer, wherever you might be in the world, keep looking out for Philip Rouse on SES News, Philip Wonka, because if he pops up at random, there is a chance you can win a gold cube, a sticker, a frisbee, or whatever. And we look for, and that's going to be running for the next 12 months. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Dear viewers, look after yourselves wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you again 2100 GMT next week. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. And I've got 2 clicks now. 1 click here,